a lot of differences, but the biggest difference, of course, is the new music that we've added to this year's program. We've also brought back some of the music that was performed as part of the 25th anniversary concerts in London, Tokyo, and Los Angeles, such as the Boss Battle Medley, which is a wonderful piece. A Link Between Worlds is, of course, a new addition to the concert, as well as new material from Majora's Mask, the 3D remake, which was recently in February, which was released. So it's great. We also have personal messages from the original creators themselves, Mr. Kondo, Mr. Miyamoto, and of course Mr. Aonuma. So it's a very it's a different show. The only thing that's really the same is the 4-movement symphony. We stuck to the 4-movement symphony as the core of the concert, but we've also redid a lot of the visuals as part of that. So yeah, I think that's yeah. Yeah, unfortunately we don't feature any of the Capcom games. We also don't feature Hyrule Warriors, which is kind of a similar release, such as the Capcom releases. We really just stick to the core of the games. Obviously, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, of course, Wind Waker HD. But yeah. Some of the other titles that you mentioned we don't feature as part of this concert, but that's not to say that we aren't working on that. It's just something that we haven't done yet. It was kind of a combination of timing. I knew that the Zelda Symphony was obviously something that I had been working on, and it kind of took precedence over the Replay Symphony of Heroes. And also, I was a little surprised by the response from the Montreal Canadians, the fan base. It wasn't as responsive as they have been to other concerts I've done here. So it was a combination of a lot of things, but I'm hopeful that we can bring that back to Montreal because it is a great show. And it's also, I think, it appeals to a lot more gaming fans, not just Zelda fans. Yeah, you know, they have a very strict approval policy. They're also very hands-on, and especially with the Zelda franchise, which is one of their most important franchises. So it's very high up. The approvals come from Mr. Aonuma and Mr. Kondo from the music side of things, even as high up as Mr. Miyamoto. You know, they do definitely have their ideas for what they want to include in the concert, and of course I work to deliver that. No, that's not true. A lot of the musicians have had the music. Some of the music has been provided to them. They've had the music and they've practiced individually. But as a group, yes, this is the first time they performed as a group on this particular show. Well, some of the musicians have performed at other Symphony of the Goddesses concerts. Some of the other concerts, in fact. And of course, some of the core material is the same. At least some of the bigger movements, of course. So, you know, it's kind of. A lot of these musicians have performed the music, so a lot of it is not the first time necessarily in this show, the first time they've seen the music. So I really can't answer how much practice time. It really comes down to the individual musician, their schedules and things like that. And that's the case with any orchestras that we work with. Unfortunately, we can only encourage them to look at the material and be ready to go for the rehearsals here today, for example. So you know, I think you know, it's interesting you say the Japanese market in particular, because it's actually it's not as popular. The Zelda franchise in Japan is not as popular of a title, which is surprising. But of course, the fan base that it is popular with came out in droves. It was very well attended. Of course, it sold out. We of course had Mr. Aonuma-san as well as Mr. Kondo-san in attendance. So that was very big. But you know, generally the reaction of the fans is always very overwhelming. It's also very responsive. They're a very enthusiastic audience. Typically, they are. The encores or standing ovations, you know, we're always met with standing ovations, and it's almost as if they don't want to go away. And of course, we try to provide as much music as we can possibly do within the time frame that we have. But I think for the most part, most of the fans are very consistent in terms of their appreciation, and they definitely are not shy about showing it. So we're very grateful for that. I've been very closely linked with Zelda over the last, last 4 years, and then even prior to that, I was presenting it as part of my other concert series. So, I think I'm really engrossed and very well invested in The Legend of Zelda. So obviously, any project that I can continue to take this project, whether in the form of, as you said, a movie or something along those lines, I definitely would like to do something continued with The Legend of Zelda. But the carte blanche, as you say, would probably be something along the lines of maybe a Nintendo-only concert featuring not just The Legend of Zelda, but maybe some of the other wonderful franchises that they have, such as Star Fox or Pikmin, or Metroid, even Mario, of course, Donkey Kong. Some of these other well-known titles that we all know and love, that have a huge Nintendo fan base. That would be something I would definitely like to be a part of and work on, as I know a lot of the direction of Nintendo in the last, I'd say the last couple of years has been really moving towards kind of having all these cast of characters on the same screen, or having the ability for example, in Super Smash Brothers, or some of these other titles, the ability to use other characters and have them kind of interact with each other. So hopefully I'll get that chance to be able to have other titles represented as part of one concert from Nintendo.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
It's been